Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Have you ever wondered if someone being labeled with a personality disorder is actually just struggling with their relationships, or is it something deeper within their entire soul? That is the big question today. For years, experts have argued about what actually defines a personality disorder. Some think it is a messy mix of every part of your personality, like how you think, how you feel, how you act, and how you relate to others. Others think it is way more targeted. They think these disorders are actually just problems with how we connect with the people around us. To get to the bottom of this, researchers took a massive leap. They dug into data from more than 23,000 people across 3 different surveys in the United Kingdom. This was not just a small group of students in a lab. This was the real world, captured on a grand scale. They looked at over 100 different symptoms of personality disorders and used some fancy high-powered computer models to see which symptoms actually predict a diagnosis. Think of these stats like a scoreboard. When they checked the results, they found that the biggest indicators, the ones that really popped up again and again, were things like self-harming, being incredibly suspicious of others, or feeling like you just cannot connect with anyone no matter how hard you try. It turns out, when you look at what really separates someone with a personality disorder from someone without one, it constantly comes back to relationships. This is a pretty radical thought because for decades we have treated these conditions as global failures of a person. But if the data is showing us that it is primarily about how we navigate our connections, it changes everything. It means that when someone is struggling, the core issue isn't that they are broken in every way imaginable. The core issue is that their system for managing relationships with themselves and with others is what needs the most care. Now, a quick note on the math. They use something called a logistic regression, which is basically a way to see which factors stand up on their own when you strip away the noise. Imagine a courtroom where you have 10 witnesses. Some are just repeating hearsay, but some are telling you the absolute truth that decides the case. The statistical tests here help the researchers figure out which symptoms were the true witnesses to the disorder. Of course, this research is not perfect. It is just one snapshot in time, and it involves some tricky human behaviors that are hard to label perfectly. For instance, sometimes an item in a survey might be about self-harm, but it might also touch on something else, like impulsive behavior, making it hard to pin down the exact target. Plus, this study looks at groups of people, not the deep history of one single person. So, while it tells us a great deal about the population, it might not capture every nuance of your own personal story. Where does this leave us? It suggests that we might need to stop labeling people as having a total personality disorder and start thinking about these as relational challenges. If we stop trying to fix the whole human being and start focusing on the relational engine that is stuttering, we might actually get better results in therapy. It is like fixing a car. If the engine is fine but the transmission is slipping, you do not replace the whole vehicle. You fix the transmission. This shift could take some of the stigma away too. Being told you have a disorder of your entire personality feels like a judgment on your existence. Being told you are having trouble with your relational style. That sounds like something you can actually learn to navigate differently. I am really curious what you think about this. Does this idea of relational disorders make more sense to you than the traditional labels? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip through the lab, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for joining me today. And keep asking the big questions.